Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about the Stamina Warden PvE build for Clockwork City. First part of the video I want to talk about the basics, and the second part I'm going to show you the rotation of the build. I also do have a guide on my website, I will put the link into the description. So, as you can see, we have pretty good stats. And we're using the Warrior Mundus Stone, still the best in terms of damage. Now, also very important, if you're playing alone, the lever might be slightly better, but it's a really small difference. We are using the normal health stamina buff food and a sense of weapon power. So we get brutality, savagery and extra stam. The race, I like to be a red guard, however Orc, Khajiit, Imperial, like all stamina races work, even Wood Elf if you want to. It's just, I'm really a red guard fanboy because of Adrenaline Rush, gives you like 800 stamina every 5 seconds, it just helps a lot with sustain. But then again, on a Stam Warden you're actually it's pretty good about sustaining, so if you want to go Orc, go Orc. Want to go Imperial, go Imperial. Gear wise, I'm always trying to change it a little bit up. It depends what group setup you run. It's very important to understand. If you're the only stamina player in your group, I recommend running twice fanged with Hundings. But if you have several stamina DDs in your group, then you can run like 5 Vicious here, and then 3 Night Mothers. Just make all divines, I don't know why this is infused. And then 2 Night Mothers weapons. You also can run like other sets, Sunderflame, Morak Tongue and all that kind of things. Those are also good if you have a lot of Stamina Dragonites. Morak Tongue is good. I do have a whole article about stamina optimization in raids or also in dungeons on my website. If you haven't read that already. So that's why I try to change around the stamina setups always a little bit, but it probably confuses the people a bit, that's the problem. Then I have 2 pieces here. Now same, if you want to run a full monster set, run a full monster set. You also can run 1 weapon damage bonus, another weapon damage bonus. You also can run weapon crit. It's more or less, it gives you the same end result. It's just preference. On the all divines, I run 5 medium, 1 heavy and 1 light. So we benefit the most from Undaunted here, from Undaunted Metal to give us 6% increased resources. Which is more or less needed because this is a dungeon and trials build, you want to get as much health as possible, otherwise you might rip. Which will result in no DPS at all. Now, on our main hand we have a Nirnhound dagger with a poison enchant and a precise dagger on the offhand with a weapon damage. We are not using infused anymore because they changed the Maelstrom bow. It used to be enchant, and the reason why people used infused on the front bar was because a Maelstrom enchant got buffed on your front bar, but now it is a set bonus, so that's not the case anymore. Another important thing about the Maelstrom bow, you have to make sure that the first hit, the first tick of your Endless Hail hits the enemy before you weapon swap. Otherwise, you will not benefit from the extra damage from the Maelstrom bow. Then we are running poisons now, because it's a set bonus, the Thunderous Volley. Those are really strong, they give you like 2 to 2.5k extra DPS. If you don't want to run them, you can run something else on your, like an enchant or something, because they're quite expensive to actually make all the time because you use them up really fast. That's it about the sets. Again, on my website I have several combos and articles about stamina, all kind of things. Here we do have like a pretty standard setup. You need to know how much points you want to put into piercing, into penetration, because that's something very important. If your group has a lot of debuffs like Alcast, Crusher enchant, you might be at the penetration cap already, so you want to take points out of here and put them, for example, more into Master at Arms. Bosses have like 18.2k resistances. You can find those CP on my website. They might differ a little bit, but yeah, you get the general idea. The most important ones are the blue CPs. Those here. I have a few Master at Arm points because we have Subterran Assault and Cutting Dive in our build. Skills. Let me start with the bow bar. I always use the same back bar on all my stamina tombs. Endless Hail, Rearming Trap, Poison Injection, Cult Drops. And now here we also have the Bull Netch. You could run the Bull Netch in the on the front bar, but yeah, I just like to run it on the back bar for some reason. Then we also have the Ballista. This is really strong ultimate. If you want, you can run the Bear, but Ballista really strong. Then we have Rending Slashes, Deadly Cloak, Cutting Dive, Subterran Assault, and Green Lotus. Then Dawnbreaker. Now about a few passives, because I know there is not a lot of people that use Stem Warden because they think they're bad, but they are not. They're actually pretty strong. It's just a different playstyle and it needs time to get. It takes time to get used to it. There's a few really strong passives this here. Increase your damage done by 2%. This counts for all abilities. Now that's why I said you could swap this to the front bar, because then we have like 6%. If you have this on the back bar, you have 4%. It's just for me, when I'm on my back bar, I reapply my dots, and then I can animation cancel this very fast. And we get the 2% damage buff on the back bar. You have 2% extra damage here, 4% extra damage here. In the end, doesn't really matter much, it's just my preference. Same thing about the rearming trap. If you have it on the front bar, you will get a little bit more weapon damage, but then, like, it really doesn't matter for this build. I think this is more or less the perfect setup. Because, why do I say on the front bar? Because of this here, fighter skills, gives you 3% more weapon damage. Now, whether you use it here on the front bar, it really doesn't matter. It's just, I like this setup. Then, why do we use Green Lotus? Basically, here, Nature's Gift. When you heal an ally, you gain 250 magicka or stamina. Restores your lowest resource pool. It's percentage based. So if you have 85% stamina, you recover stamina. If you have like 75 magicka but 85 stamina, you recover magicka. Now what does this do? It also gives us major savagery, so you don't necessarily need that on your potions. I just always buy those because they're easy to get in the store. So causing light attacks to restore 1.4k health, and heavy attacks restore 4k health on a nearby ally, or else I think it procs on yourself. So that's something really good. That's why it procs Nature's Gift, and that's why we have it on the bar. First off, it heals us when we do heavy or light attacks. I think it has a 1 second cooldown though. And secondly, it gives us good sustain. And we also have the Bull Netch. This is also strong, a bit like it gives us brutality. So again, you don't necessarily need those potions. I just buy them always because why not? And they have 48 seconds duration. That's something important. Like if you want to only use stamina pots, nothing else, you can do that, but just be aware that you might get less stamina back because they might not last that long in terms of like stamina recovery. But then we don't have a lot of stamina recovery anyway, so in the end it won't matter. If you want to run normal green potions, do it, go for it, because you have savagery buff here, brutality buff here. But we all know sometimes buffs fall off, so it's just, I don't know, easier to manage with using those here. In terms of rotation, it's pretty simple. Same thing back bar, I will show you in a second on the dummy. We just like we apply all before you actually start the fight. Make sure to use Deadly Cloak, then use your sub assault. We swap here. Endless Hail, you do a light attack, trap, light attack, poison injection, light attack, cult drops. If you need to reapply Bull Edge, do another light attack and then immediately animation cancel. Do a light attack, Subterranean Assault, heavy attack, Rending Slashes, heavy attack, Bird, heavy attack, Subterranean Assault, light attack, Deadly Cloak, weapon swap. Sounds complicated, but once you get used to it, not that difficult. You really want to make sure to activate this skill twice on your front bar. So literally when you come back from your back bar, you activate it, and then again almost before you weapon swap again, because this deals a lot of damage. Did I forget something? Like I said, if you want to use the bear, go for it. We actually can do a second try just to see the damage difference. Now let me just do a quick parse on the dummy. It's mostly to show the rotation. The setup is not optimized for target dummies. I'm not the target dummy warrior. This build is for trials and dungeons. Again, make sure to activate all your buffs. Now, you don't necessarily need this because it will not proc, because we will not heal anyone. As you can see, 35k actually pretty good. And this skill is especially nice because it's also AoE damage, so it actually will boost your damage even more in dungeons or trials when there is a lot of trash packs. Now, you might ask, well, why do you use Cutting Dive and not Shrouded Daggers? You can use both. Like, I just like this more for single target, but if you want splash damage, you can use Shrouded Daggers. You see, like, this is 10k unbuffed, this is like 8.2k, so it does a little bit less damage, but it has splash damage. So it's up to you whether you use the Bird or Shrouded Daggers. The thing is also, this is cheaper, it goes to 1.7, this is almost 2k in terms of stamina cost. But with this rotation you will not have issues with stamina at all, as you have seen. We are a little bit slow with reapplying Endless Hail. I'm on the PTS here, so on the live server the rotation might be a little bit faster. If you want to speed up the rotation, you still could do one less heavy attack. Instead of, like, just take out one heavy attack, replace it with a light attack. So Endless Hail doesn't fall off for like 0.51 seconds, if you can sustain it. Now let me get the bear, let's do... Ah, here he is. If you want to run the bear, or if you're running the bear, you also could run War Machine, a really strong set. because the bear will obviously proc it a lot. As you can see, it's more or less the same DPS. The thing is, when you run a bear, you have to activate. Like, you have one more skill to activate more often compared to when you use the bow ulti. Because you can activate this almost every 1-2 rotations, and bow ulti takes a little longer, so you have more time to cast other things. Then if we had used War Machine, we would probably get a little bit more DPS. But in the end, as you've seen, like this is 36 and the other one was 35k. And for me, it's always kinda when I can do the same DPS and not run a pet, it's always the better options, because pets sometimes die, pets get stuck in wall, pet runs away from the boss, nobody knows why, but whatever, and all that kind of stuff. Just don't run into troubles. Quickly analyze the Parse here. As you can see, the poison here 730 and like 1.2, so almost 2k. This it did 1.3 and 600, almost 2k damage. 6.2k, 6.3k, so you see it's more or less the same. Subterran Assault 3.4. Here did 2.5. We had 12 hits here, 14 here, okay. Cast it once less, maybe didn't go off, I'm not sure. Oh, we were faster here, obviously, okay. Yeah, you get the general idea. Now about the bird, obviously it's not a lot of damage because we only use it once every rotation. So we use it 6 times. On our 36k Parse, it crit 100%. That's a lot of luck. And here it crits 67%. We had an average weapon crit of 63%. That it actually crits 100% is a lot of luck. But then again, that's why I say, like, this 34.9k and 36k, it's the same DPS. The only reason it's not more or less the same is because you get more crits here somewhere, and on the other parts you have maybe less crits than you should and all that kind of stuff. It's more or less it. Let me actually check. We had Major Fracture because Subterran Assault gives us Major Fracture. Something very important to note. Now again, like, it's a Dungeon Trials build. If you want to go full target dummy warrior, you want 2-Fanged and Hunting's Rage and Croc, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you can hit 40k if you want to on those target dummies. Probably more on the 6k as on the 3 million. I mean, the 6 million you can probably hit even higher as on the 3 million because of the execute damage and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I hope you understood the idea of the rotation as the main purpose of this test here. If you do have any questions, please ask me in the comment section below. Make sure to not forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you found the video useful. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.